What's up, Penguins fans? Happy Monday, December 5th. Another big week for this hockey team coming up. 3 games this week for your Pittsburgh Penguins. It starts on Tuesday against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then they go to Buffalo on Friday, and then they will come home to play the Sabres for the final time this season on Saturday. So, a lot to get into for this week's episode. Starting for today, of course, we're going to recap the game against the St. Louis Blues, touch on the biggest things that happened. Obviously, the first segment will be about the Jordan Binnington thing with Jason Zucker and just my overall thoughts about the game. And then later on in the show, we will be previewing the game against the Columbus Blue Jackets as the Penguins look to continue to tear up the Jackets as they just beat them almost every time they play each other at this point. So that will take up the meat of today's episode, and it's all coming up right after this drop.
You're Locked On Penguins, your daily podcast on the Pittsburgh Penguins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Penguins podcast. I am your host, Hunter Hodes. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Hunter Hodes. Follow the show's Twitter at @LO_Penguins. And of course, thank you all so much for making this your first listen of the day. I apologize if I'm sounding a little under the weather. On Sunday of all days, I'm feeling great over the weekend. Just moved to Pittsburgh. And of course, on Sunday, I start feeling like an itch in my throat. It's kind of continued into today. So I think I'm battling a small cold right now. I don't think I have COVID again for the second time in 3 months. I think that's just a little too soon to get it, especially after I managed to not get it for about 2.5 years. That time of year. So, it's a nice little welcome to the Steel City here, but, I'm hoping to feel a bit better by tomorrow. So I'm kind of at, 75-80% right now, but, of course, have to get episodes in for you all. I'm not like having a fever or anything. It's just a tickle in my throat, but let's get into the meat for today's episode. And the biggest talking point from that game against St. Louis, remember, a 6-2 Penguins win. They've now won 9 of their last 13 games, 7 out of 9 overall. They are now also in the first wild card spot, just a couple points behind the Islanders, 3 points behind the Hurricanes for second. And that was the whole Jordan Binnington situation with Jason Zucker. So for those that missed it, I think, it's been over 48 hours at this point. I don't know how you would have missed it. Jason Zucker skating around the net. Binnington comes out to play the puck and just gives him a nice big face wash. Just puts his hand to his head, his face, excuse me. Zucker goes down a heartbeat. He sold it just a little bit. Binnington gets a 4-minute double minor, eventually gets reduced. And then, just a few minutes later, Penguins make it 3-1, and then Zucker makes it 4-1, and Binnington gets pulled. He comes out of the net, basically just talks a bunch of crap to the Penguins bench. Jason Zucker had his famous, what do you want me to do, man? And Penguins bench just barking at him, telling him to go off the ice. He gets a 10-minute game misconduct. He's kicked out of the game. I understand that's a frustrated Blues team, but that just goes to show how Jordan Binnington is probably the biggest crybaby in hockey. And this is who he is. And I tweeted this out, and I had some weird Blues fans come in my mentions to defend him. I don't really know why. Jordan Binnington is who Flyers fans, Capitals fans, Rangers fans, every fan base that hates the Penguins, he is who those people think Sidney Crosby is at this point. Literally. And Sidney Crosby hasn't done anything close to that throughout his career. So I don't even know why people think that he's still a crybaby. I think that joke died in 2012. Excuse me, to be honest with you. But, I just have no respect for him just in this game. I think a lot of players are also losing respect for him as well. Heck, even Craig Berube after the game, and I don't know who the reporter was that was asking Berube about the situation with Binnington. He asked some really nice questions. He was grilling Berube a bit, and he even said, he's like, yeah, goalie has to be better too. And the reporter asked, do you think that's just him losing his cool? And Berube said, yeah, it is. He goes, he basically said that we don't have time for this. He needs to focus on stopping the puck, and it's gotten old. And when your head coach is saying something like that, and someone who played a bit rough back in his day, he was a pretty physical player, lived on the edge, he's no stranger to this sort of things. Even when he is saying stuff like that, you've screwed up. But Binnington, there's just no need for something like that, and especially after just 2 nights prior, he tries to go out there and check Jordan Staal to the boards. And you all know this. Stahl's a big dude. Like he towers over most players in this league, and Stahl, he actually checked him back, and Binnington got the worst of it. It's just he's a man-child. He doesn't know to not lose his cool. That's who he's been throughout his career. And honestly, I don't know if it's going to change at this point. The Penguins, they blitzed him in that game. They blitzed him in basically every start that he's made against them throughout his career. And I touched on this in my Friday episode. I said this to you guys. I said, get under his skin, get in his crease, make him mad. Sure enough, the Penguins did all that. And what do you know? He gets kicked out of the game. Thomas Greiss goes in, follows right when he's getting his water bottle. Things did not get that much better for the Blues after Binnington got pulled. So that was the biggest storyline, I think, of the game. And, I think it also overshadowed a really impressive performance from the Penguins. Again, this is another big team, a heavier team. It's not like a Carolina team. It's not like, I don't know, maybe Tampa Bay, something like that, Toronto. If I had to make another, contrast for another team, the Penguins, they do well against these kind of teams. A team like St. Louis, a team like Vegas, those heavier teams that can't skate as well as the Penguins do. The Penguins, they struggle a bit more when they do have to go up and face a team like Carolina, who can only skate with the Penguins. They can probably skate faster than the Penguins. So this would be the type of team that I would like to see the Penguins draw in the playoffs if they do make it, just because they know how to play against those teams. And, at 5v5, this game was not close. The Penguins, almost just dropped my phone, excuse me, 57.7% of the shot attempts were per 60 at 5v5. Scoring chance-wise, the Penguins had 63% of those. High danger, 68% of those, and then 63% of the expected goals. So a very strong performance at even strength. If you go to special teams, it gets even better. Penguins had 58% of the attempts, at all situations. 58% of the shot attempts there, 60% of the scoring chances, 60% of the high danger chances, and 57% of the expected goals. So a very ho-hum performance like there from the Penguins. But, this was a game, right off rip where you knew the Penguins were going to get the result. The vibe check was there. They were skating the Blues into oblivion. Binnington was not looking sharp. Tristan was making some strong save as well. And when you get the top 6 rolling and Kasperi Kapanen gets his hat trick, and I'm going to lead off the second segment talking about that, and you continue to defend well, and Tristan Jarry makes the saves, that leads to a win 99.999999% of the time. So overall, I thought team-wise a very good performance from this team. And it's always something funny happens, it feels like, when the Penguins play the Blues. This is, I believe, the second time in a row now where Binnington has started in Pittsburgh and he's had a hissy fit. Not as bad as this latest one, the one last year, but it was still one that was definitely up there, to say the least. People, and I'm sure there are people that maybe listen to the show that were there when Henrik Lundqvist flipped the net over its moorings, when everyone was calling him a piss baby and all that stuff. This is that times 1,000. Binnington just lost his cool and, just turned. I always love seeing that guy get punked. He's honestly, I feel like he's going to get what's coming to him one day. I think there's going to be a player that just comes after him and just punches him with his helmet off. Obviously, I don't think you want to punch someone with their helmet on, because you're just going to break your finger or something like that. But I think if he comes out to play the puck one time and a player's coming in and they see what he did to Jordan Staal and what happened with Jason Zucker, would not surprise me if a player just takes a run at him and just tries to deck him. I think that's going to be coming sooner rather than later. But, it stinks that overshadowed a really good Penguins performance, but we had to talk about it and just how Binnington continues to screw the Blues. And that's a team that really needs to get a lot right now, to say the least. But that wraps up this first segment for today's episode. Coming up in the next segment, we're going to get into Kasperi Kapanen and what the heck has gotten into him, what has really been just driving this hot streak from him, and just overall other player performances that I really enjoyed in that game against St. Louis. But before we get to that, our next partner has a product I use literally every day. I start taking athletic greens because, sometimes I didn't have time in the morning to really fully work out. I wanted more energy when I would wake up. Hate taking pills and vitamins. Those are the main 3 reasons. I think. So you all are probably wondering, what is this stuff? Well, with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, and probiotics to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All of those things. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, there's no nasty chemicals or artificial anything while still tasting good. It also supports better sleep quality and recovery, supports your mental clarity and alertness. It has over 7,000 five-star reviews. It's trusted by numerous professional athletes. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. There's no need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, I'm back on this episode of the Locked On Penguins podcast. I am your host, Hunter Hodes. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Hunter Hodes. Follow the show's Twitter at Loner's Penguins. And of course, thank you all so much for making this your first listen of the day. So, obviously, the big storyline from this game, another big storyline from this game for the Penguins, Kasperi Kapanen, 4 goals in his last 2 games, gets a hat trick against the Blues. You're probably wondering, what's going on? Why is he all of a sudden starting to turn this around? And, right now, I kind of see this as a mirage. I don't think this is going to last. Would love for him to prove me wrong. But, I feel like I've seen this story before where he's just going to go into another big rut and then he'll have another couple of good games and we'll all be praising about it. And then the same thing will happen. So right now I'm just going to keep my expectations low. But, that said, I think one of the main reasons why he's playing well right now, he's going to the net a lot more. And I think that's probably what he's just been being told to do in practice, just because, when you've seen him struggle a lot this season, where is he at? Point, towards the boards, not near the circles, not near the slot, not near the net front area. He's not getting to the dangerous areas of the ice. And now that he is, he's starting to get rewarded. Has he had a couple of good luck goals? Sure. That also plays a role. But, he's parking himself right in the blue paint and he's cleaning up garbage. And, that's sometimes what you need to do to get yourself back going. The game against Vegas, for example, that goal, where is he at? Directly to the side of the net, 10 feet out. The goals that he scored against St. Louis, where was he? Right in front of the net, right near the net, right near the net. He's not even 15 to 20 feet out using his release or anything like that. No, he is right in that Patrick Hornquist type area where he is cleaning up garbage. And that's why you're seeing him have a lot of success right now, is because he's getting to those good areas where you can score goals in the NHL. And I hope that he does keep this up. I want him to prove me wrong. It's just, we've seen this story before where he doesn't, follow up these performances with more consistent games, and you just see him go back to being inconsistent, and then that leads to a healthy scratch and all that. But, I am glad that he is more confident right now. The Penguins have badly needed some other depth scoring this season just because Jeff Carter is not playing well. Danton Heinen is a healthy scratch. Brock McGinn's been playing a bit decent. Josh Archibald's been fine. Ryan Paling's okay. Teddy Bluger, he's been all right. But, they haven't had that player yet, outside, I guess, of McGinn and maybe Archibald to a smaller degree, where, you're really feeling that oomph from the bottom 6, where you feel like you can definitely count on this player to score for you on a nightly basis. And I mean no disrespect to Archibald or Paling or Bluger and all those guys. They can score for this team, but, could you really count on them to score, like once a week or something in that bottom 6? No, I feel like, for a team that wants to be deep and wants to run 4 lines, you need to rely on someone, at least one player just from that bottom 6 to score, once a week when you have 3 to 4 games, something like that. And, maybe that's going to be Kapanen. Who knows? I'm not going to get my hopes up for it, but, I think that's what they want him to be right now. And I think that's the main reason, again, why he is scoring, is he's going to those dirty areas. And, I think his all around game right now is really good. His underlines are awesome. He's a really good fit on that third line down there with Carter. Funny enough, Carter's not really dragging him down. McGinn, I think, is playing really well with him, and, he's being rewarded, and I'm glad, 4 goals in 2 games. He gets off the snod a little bit. And, I think he was one of the big reasons why this team won on Saturday. Brian Russ gets his first goal in what feels like a month or two. At this point, had a 4-point night as well. Yeah, he had been trending in that direction for, I would say, the past week or two, was getting some quality looks, just wasn't putting the puck in the back of the net. You saw that happen this time on Saturday. Really nice release from him. Hopefully that gets him going because, we've seen this from Russ before. I believe it was 3-4 years ago. He had a really poor start to the season, had a few goals in 20-something games, comes out after that, scores 8 goals in his next 6 games, and then is consistent the rest of the way. Could we see that here? Maybe, but it would not surprise me to say the least, just because he's been on those kind of heaters before. He's always been kind of a streaky player, but when he's on, there are not many players on this team who can get as hot as him. Sid doing Sid things, gets one of the gets another one of those goals, and then Jason Zucker, of course, he gets the goal that really pissed off Binnington to a degree. Going back to Sid though a little bit, he continues to, it's ho-hum for him as well. Top 5 and 5 on 5 points this season. Definitely making his case to win the Hart Trophy so far. I think he's been one of the 5 best players in hockey so far. So, all the forwards I thought mostly played. I don't think any back forward played bad. Defensively, I continue to be wowed by P.O. Joseph. His decision-making is spectacular. I mean, he continues to join the rush a lot more, continuing to get quality looks in the offensive zone, breaking up plays. This was a 5-2, 6-2 game late in the third period. And he's putting his body on the line to break up 2-on-1s, just playing great. Also 1-on-1 defending in his own zone. He is feeling it right now. This is the player that I think a lot of people envisioned him to be, myself included. I didn't think he was going to reach it this season just because I didn't know if he was going to play a lot of minutes, but I'm glad that he has so far because he has been awesome. Again, I'm almost just running out of things to say about him at this point. Jeff Petrie, I think he's been playing a lot better as of late. Hasn't had the goal scoring yet, but he's still playing reliable top pairing minutes for this team alongside Marcus Pettersson. I'm glad that Mike Sullivan went back to that pairing because I really do enjoy that one. Dumoulin, he continues to be sheltered a little bit, had a better bounce back game against the Blues. And then Chad Ruhwedel, best number 7 defenseman in the league. Tristan Jarry, I think that he wanted which one was it? Yeah, I believe it was the first goal. I think he probably wanted that one back. It wasn't the Tarasenko goal. That was a really nice shot. I think the one by Buchnevich that made it 2-1. I just, I thought that was a little weak, but for his standards, it comes from the far right circle, kind of close to the red line towards the back, behind the net, and just was a weird angle. He got a piece of it, not enough, but still, no screen in front of him. I feel like he has to have that one, and I think he'll clean that up. But still, outside that, really strong performance and just a good, game for the Penguins overall. So that's really all I have to say about the Blues game at this point. We're going to move on to Columbus now, and we're going to be previewing that game here coming up in this final segment. But before we get to that, my wonderful Bet Online overlay for the YouTube audience for you all. It's your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. That is Bet Online. You can get the latest odds and trends for every professional league out there. From football to basketball to soccer and esports, we've got it all at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. You can head to the website today or use your phone to learn more. That has BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, I'm back on this episode of the Locked On Penguins podcast. I am your host, Hunter Hodes. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Hunter Hodes. Follow the show's Twitter at Illinois Penguins. And of course, thank you all so much for making this your first listen of the day. So, game 2 out of 4 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Penguins won the first one 6-3 in Columbus. Remember, that was when they were down 2-0 and 3-1, and the Penguins scored 5 unanswered goals to beat the Jackets. That was in late October, one of their first games of the season. That was when they were really humming at that point. And the Penguins, they play this Columbus team so well. It is crazy. In their last 20 games against the Jackets, dating back to February of 2017, they are 16-3-1 against the Jackets all time against them. They've won 33 of 47 meetings, 33-10-4, and all time At home against the Jackets, the Penguins are 19-4-0. Those stats come courtesy of the Penguins PR team. I love getting their emails and being on the media list for that. This game will also wrap up the 5-game homestand where the Penguins have gone 2-1-1. The Penguins at home this season, they are 6-3-2. So this is a big one. They have another home game coming up on this Saturday, but they still have to go on the road after that. Then they'll also play Dallas on that Monday. So they still have a ton of home games coming up, but this will wrap up their 5-game homestand. The Jackets this season just not good enough. I thought they were maybe, how do I want to say this? I thought they could be maybe a small sleeper team, but I just didn't really see it out there as well. I just thought they were, I think if everything broke right, they could have been a team that could make a little bit of noise and push for a spot. But so far, their goaltending has stunk. They have no depth. Defensively, they've been hurt all year. They battled injuries up front as well. And, Johnny Gaudreau can't do it by himself. And that's why you see them towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference right now, right? You look at their lines, Johnny Gaudreau, Boone Jenner, Patrick Laine on the top line. I'm sorry, you're not a serious Stanley Cup contender with Boone Jenner as your top line center. I mean, that's just not, he's maybe a good second, third line center. He's not a first line center. I don't care if you have Johnny Gaudreau on your left wing. Second line, Gustav Nyquist, Jack Roslovich, and Kent Johnson. You are Chikhanov, Cole Sillinger, and then Kirill Marchenko on the third line. Sillinger, he was one of their top young players who was expected to make a big jump this season. So far, that has not happened. He's just, definitely, I think, feeling it so far this season as I just make sure I see his stats here. Yeah, 2 goals, 5 points in 23 games. That comes after a 16-goal, 31-point campaign in 79 games last season. I know he's 19, has a lot of room to grow, but I don't think the Blue Jackets saw him play in, like this season. And on the fourth line, Sean Corrali with Matthew Oliver and Eric Robinson. Defensively, that is when they are really hurt. Adam Boquist, Zach Werenski, and Jake Bean are all out. The Blue Jackets will also have Jacob Voracek out for this game. So that's forward-wise, of course. So defensively, on their top pairing, Vladislav Gavrikov and Marcus Bjork, Jake Christensen, Eric Goodbranson, and then Andrew Peak is on the bottom pairing with Gavin Bayreuther. Just at that, I probably don't even know half of those players' names. That just goes to show how banged up they are. In terms of keys for this matchup, the Penguins just, outside of showing up, they just got to keep peppering the opposing goaltender. They've played Merzlikins pretty well throughout his career. He's given up, 3, 4 plus goals in multiple starts against the Penguins. Jonas Korpisalo, not that much better, to be honest. I was making sure the Blue Jackets do not play tonight, and no, they do not. This will not be a back-to-back for them. Honestly, outside of showing up, the Penguins, they should be able to win this game. But again, it's any given night in the NHL. Johnny Gaudreau, always be on the lookout for him. He is a superstar in this league. Patrick Laine, I don't think he was in the lineup the last time these two teams played. He is a sniper, one of their best goal scorers. Boone Jenner is, he's played decently well against the Penguins over the years. Gustav Nyquist has also had their number at times. So I know this team is at the bottom of the division, but the Penguins, they still got to show up. You don't want to just, drop 2 points for the sake of dropping 2 points. They've won 9 of their last 13 games. They're playing well. You want to make sure that continues on Tuesday. Got to sell out their power play. They can put out a lot of talent on that unit, even though once he's on there, Gaudreau, Laine, Roslovich can really fire the puck. Marchenko, Marcus Bjork, it looks like is quarterbacking it. But as long as Gaudreau is on there, you always have to be on high alert. So that will mainly do it for this preview of the game against the Jackets. It's a game that the Penguins should be able to win. They play this team very well over the years. The Penguins, knock on wood, have yet to suffer a regulation loss against metropolitan opponents this season. I believe so far they're 3-0-1, 4-0-1, if that sounds right. Yeah, because they beat Washington, they beat Philadelphia, they beat Columbus, lost to Carolina in overtime, 3-0-1. I don't think they've played any of the other metropolitan teams. I'm just double checking that as of right now. No, they've not played the Devils yet, haven't played the Islanders, haven't played the Rangers. Yeah. So that does line up. Yeah. So the Penguins 3-1 against Metro teams this year. They'll put that on the line on Tuesday. Hopefully there'll be a bigger crowd for this one. I know the crowds have just not been there lately. I think it's just a multitude of reasons. It's getting cold, a lot of construction around the arena. But I don't know. This is a rivalry game, so hopefully a lot more fans will show up for this one. But we'll see how the Penguins can do against the Jackets. They'll go for 2 more points in the standings as they look to stay in the top 8 of the Eastern Conference as they've gotten back into playoff positioning. So again, that'll do it for this one. Hope you all enjoyed listening to it, and I'll be back with another episode on Tuesday.